So remember when Trump was in office and he said, for those that followed him, I caught the swamp, I caught all of them, let's see what happens. Most people that followed him know about that, right? You saw it. I caught the swamp, I caught all of them, let's see what happens. So something that's kind of worried me about, yeah, you caught the, I always thought, well, okay, you caught the top, but I saw, like once I woke up, but I started seeing things wrong in healthcare, like I said before, and one of the things that I've never mentioned, but it's bothered me, and I realized why it bothered me, is I've mentioned magnet of nursing, okay, and I'll circle back to Trump in a minute, but what bothered me about them is everything was about shared governance. Shared governance. Do you know what shared governance is? Shared governance is socialism. Obamacare took us into socialized medicine. It's why you don't have staff. It has nothing to do with the nursing shortage. I mean, who knows? They're really running them out now because they're so horrible now. But most of them, the hospitals at the top, like they're so diabolical in the things they're doing. But so you have Magnet that comes along, and I don't know if it came along. I mean, the term shared governance goes back to socialism. So that's why it always bothered me, because there is no such thing as socialism. They'll tell you we can do it this way. Yes, in some countries they have socialized systems, but they're very tyrannical in many ways. Or their healthcare, like in Canada, they have socialized medicine. It sucks, very much like ours, but worse, okay? There's not freedom for doctors to, they're controlled by something above them. It makes healthcare, it makes life, socialism sucks, okay? But they can never bring communism in because everybody knows what communism is. So throughout history, always what they do, I don't know why the educated never get it at the top, but they use socialism every single time. All of the tyrannical leaders in history always used the socialism stuff, okay? They did. So you have Magnet, who, I don't know, at least my whole career has been saying shared governance, and it never made sense. It's like, okay, so you're about best practices, and you're about people having all these letters after their name. I don't know what other purpose you serve, except that they too, as I've said before, at the International Nurse Council that's at the UN, that's tied to American Nurses Association, tied to Magnet, tied to National Nurses United, tied to all the nursing stuff. Which is why they're all going along with the same agenda, which is why for a decade they've been going along with the same agenda. And it's been about shared governance. Great way to condition an entire profession so that when they bring Obamacare in, you're accepting of it and don't say, no, wait, that's socialized medicine. And it's a great way to start conditioning a lot of people to accept socialism. Because for years they've been trying to get the American people to accept socialism, and the American people know what, I mean, the newer generations, who knows? I mean, they've been, I don't know. But there was a time, most Americans, we know what socialism is. It's terrifying because it's only a jumping board into communism. That's never what they want. So they start capturing agencies like Obamacare was designed to get a hold of the healthcare system, okay? And Magnet is just a tool of the United Nations through the International Nurse Council to condition a bunch of nurses to be about the shared governance. But what I never really, I didn't like the term, but what I really thought is, why are you trying to make them think like that you should be in the corporate world having governing? See, that's the problem when I looked into these organizations, is they all have their own congresses and their own legislative bodies and all this stuff. And it's like, so, and I've been thinking for years about this. I'm like, then how does that work when it comes to like America and us being under our Constitution that really matters, because theirs doesn't, not next to ours. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, well, you know, the one thing I've never seen is I've never seen a hospital CEO be patriotic. I haven't. Maybe there's some out there. I've never seen the hospital, you know, be proud to raise the American flag. Sometimes on the outside, yeah, but other than that, no, but they will the trans flag or the BLM, won't they? Yeah, all the socialized agendas, socialism agendas. I've never seen the nursing profession be very particularly patriotic, but then they wouldn't, because American Nurses Association, which is tied, all of the unions tied to the UN, where a bunch of communist and socialist countries are, they would hate America And who is trying to destroy America, manipulate, psychologically engineer America, and has been for a long time? All the people that hate America. So just like in Washington, you know, you end up, when you look into things, you find out, yeah, the politicians, but really it's more the bureaucrats behind them that have more of the power, right? Well, it's the same thing here. Like, everybody gets mad at the politicians, and you should. There's a lot to get mad at there. They're at very least weak, but most of them are corrupt. And we know Joe Biden's corrupt. But everybody tends to think Joe Biden's controlling them to do this. No, he's not. They would do it without him. They did it. They didn't listen to a thing Trump said. They didn't. Neither did many other agencies, because that was the shadow government saying, you know, an F you to Trump, because it was going to be their way. So you'd have to be strategic. And Trump, everything Trump has said up to now has been true, right? I mean, how many people have said everything he said was true about hydroxychloroquine, all the different things? So many things. He was right about this. Even people that have hated him say that. And what was something that gets overlooked many times? He said, I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. So maybe he caught the, this is speculation on my part, okay? I'm just saying, wouldn't you want to catch all of them, though? Because the ones behind the curtain, the hospital CEOs, the nursing organizations at the top that are more patriotic to the UN than they are America, that are more about going along with sick agendas that the World Economic and the Green New Deal put out than doing evidence-based agendas. You'd want to get all of them, because if you just leave them, they've been on board with that for a long time. They have. Those are people that have been for a while doing a soft coup in this country. They have been. There's no reason to push social shared governance in the nursing profession. That's ridiculous. It always has been. That's why it's always bothered me. No, because they were brought in for another purpose. And yet, show me where any of them are ever patriotic. I mean, yeah, I don't think so. They're all about everybody else's flag, but they hate America's. I'm not saying the nursing profession. I mean all these organizations. So in order to catch all these people, because they've been the one, while you get mad at Joe Biden, while you get mad at the politicians, and there's plenty to get mad at, believe me, I don't think there's a lot they can do to stop the corporations, though. Like, yeah, they can say the three-letter agencies were colluding with social media. And yeah, they maybe would collude if it's an organization that was on the up and up, you know, that didn't want to silence people. But most of the corporations, just like they didn't care when Trump blacklisted those cameras, Northwestern still put them in. They were a national security threat. They kept them in. They put them in. They didn't care. And I reported them, and that's why FBI didn't call me back. DOJ didn't. I mean, for months I reported it. I mentioned that in many videos. Got serial numbers. They went back to that Chinese firm. So none of them listened to Trump. They didn't give a shit. That's how much power they think they have. So what would you do? Well, you'd want to get a hold of everybody at the top, the swamp there, right? And say, okay, we'll cut some deals with you. Okay, you're going to go to jail or worse. But if you want to help, you're going to continue this, put Joe Biden in. Yep. Make it seem like, yep, he's in. Everybody can, that now the corporations can freely, the hospitals, the education system, all the associations can freely push and move forward their agenda of corporate citizen, really corporate slave. And by doing that, well, then they think that they're good to go, and Trump's just, you know, old news. And, well, that would be the best way that you catch every one of the son of a bitches. Because you don't want to leave them out there. And you can't just arrest them for being at the World Economic Forum, right? But once Biden gets in, oh, well, then they really moved forward, didn't they? Yeah, they all did illegal stuff. And now they're continuing to do it. So you'd want to let it play out so that you can get every single one of the criminals in the corporations that have been trying to overtake America. So that's, again, speculation. But I don't think Trump was lying when he said, I caught them all. He's been right about everything else. So maybe, just maybe, it's about catching all of these people that have been hiding behind the scenes and taking our rights.